This episode of Speakers of Eidolon is made possible by our generous patrons. Special thanks to our supreme and master speakers, Circa Barrakiel, Remia Salia, Omiji Cat Comet, Erisu Yamakawa, Arcadia Lunashine, Dramavian, Alex Franco AV, Nina Grimstaughter, Casey Schaefer, Dimos, Lily Black, Hans Grenade, Sapa Chaquatol, Faris Gentoru, Cletus Oreo, Quick Levin, Luke Leonatrell, Cires, Icy Lee, Lyria Rain, Pamela Isley, Umbral Wind, Naive Arano, Celeste Rascris, Elendriel Maximus, Edwin, Bob CC, Fabs and Voidworm, Raimi Maverick, Code Red No, Mira Miri, Winebow Brood, Bay Barbalay, Kaiser Regina, Usura Akari, AJ Brainswordson, Suno Shikano, Gideon Ura, Buster Gearhold, Asuta Starbreeze, Nat Clay, Camille Grino, Huskies, and Face on Masher. Support the show and become a patron today at patreon.com/SpeakersXIV. Thank you.
This is Speakers of Eidolon.
Good evening, Aorcians. Welcome to Speakers of Eidolon, episode 242. I'm Lukiel Bravestone, and I'm joined today by Georgi Wisdom and Rollo Des.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
Welcome, everyone. It is April 17th, 2021. Patch 5.5 has hit hard. And it's time for us to do our spoiler cast review. Well, today's mostly spoiler cast because we're not really going to talk too much about the other stuff in the patch. That will probably be next week. But we are going to talk about the MSQ, and we haven't really decided what to prioritize. We might not have time to go through everything today, like I said. So there will be a part 2 next week for all the stuff that we haven't, that we don't have time to cover today. So make sure that you've at least done the MSQ before watching this. We will discuss the story, so you have been warned. You can stay. You can safely stay until we're done with recent events. But after that, you should probably take your hand.
Unless you haven't done Hatching Tide and you don't want that spoiled either.
The deepest lore,
which has such deep lore and will ruin the game if we spoil it for you. Main topics today, of course, like I said, patch 5.5 and Hatching Tide. There probably won't be Mogmail today, so sorry, no Mogmail today. Stay tuned for the post show. We'll be answering questions from the Syndicate. And that is essentially it. There's nothing else to report. Well, I can mention no one cares, but the Speakers Minecraft server ends on the 29th. So
awesome. When's the Eco server coming up?
Well, that has not been decided, but maybe it happens. Maybe as like an... And we're not talking about this here, but
I want to build a nice little city. It'd be so beautiful, so much public transportation.
It's being looked into as a possible.
You know the game doesn't have trains yet.
No, it doesn't have.
Fuck this
but
game!
It's coming, Rollo.
Okay.
Yeah, it's coming.
Yeah, maybe sure trains, and I just blue balled me.
Well, it's on the thing of things that they're working on, so it is coming eventually.
Okay.
Okay. That's that. I guess we have no time to lose. We just have to jump right into
What have we been doing this week? The patch.
No. Yeah, we're not doing that. Recent events. All right. So, recent events. Hatching Tide happened. Rollo has not done it yet. Let's just get that.
I know we're going to cover it today. That's my fault.
So we're spoiling it for Rollo, but
It is not
Really?
much to spoil. I think
No.
we can sum this up as just a very quick and easy event, very similar to, like, I would almost compare it to like a 1.0 seasonal event. It's like it was so quick, but I kind of like that sometimes when it's like it's not trying to be something extravagant. It's like, okay, here's the Easter event. Pick some eggs.
We gave you a fun little fate today.
Yeah. So for what little story there is, I guess we can mention that it's Jilly Aliapo. She's had another dream. She's dreamt about cocks, and there's some like chicken. So spoilers for the literal 3 lines of text in this this fucking quest. You meet. There's 2 characters introduced in this, whom names.
There's one character introduced in this. The Notter has always existed.
Oh yeah,
in the
yeah.
Action
Sorry,
Tide
yeah.
stories.
Sorry. I remember names through faces, and they're wearing chicken costumes here, which fucks me up. So I don't remember anyone. I don't know who the other person is. It was called. I don't know what their name is.
Paulin is their name.
Okay. There's some chickens in a area in the Great Lone Growery that they want their eggs, but the
We want their eggs.
yeah, we want their eggs, but the chickens are like, give us that nice shit. Let us like good shit, like good feed. If you give us the good feed, eggs will come to you.
Chickens are immunized.
Yeah,
Watch out.
Yeah, go on.
We had this weird moment where we stared into the soul of a chicken, and that actually terrified me a little bit because chickens in this game are actually scarier to look at than I thought they were.
They are, and they're oddly detailed. The face is like there's too much going on in it. So apparently these chickens are very aggressive, dangerous chickens. And so they ask you, the Warrior of Light, to go into this room, this cave, it looks like from initially. It's just like a cave opening with like a wooden it looks, if you look too closely at it, it looks a little like they just clipped some scenery in there, like to make it look like, oh, we put a door here. Like but anyways,
I think that's always been there though.
Yeah. It's always been there, but they've made it a thing now. At first, I forgot where I was, and I thought I was looking at Black Boar Gate, and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
This is the moment. This is the use for the Black Boar Gate. No, but it's at the Great Lone Growery. It's at the Botanist Guild. And it's its own little space in there, and there's one fate that spawns there where chickens lay eggs, and you have to try to get the egg before they throw an AoE at you, which pushes you away, gives you heavy. Very annoying, because sometimes you're like, oh, I can get the egg now because they just did the AoE, and they just immediately start a new AoE, and then there's another one, and then there's these roosters running around fucking shit up.
I don't think they're roosters. I think they're all.
It says roosters in the text.
Does
There's
it?
like, yeah, in the text on the side, it says like the aggressive roosters, even though they have the same appearance as the chickens. So I don't know. So
It takes a really long time to pick an egg, apparently.
Yes, they're big eggs. Did you see how big those eggs are? How can those big eggs come out of that tiny chicken?
Things stretch.
Things really stretch. I mean, that means that while that egg is inside them, they are 80% egg. Their body mass is 80% egg. So you get the eggs, you deliver it, and that's it. Basically, you get the eggs, they are happy, and they're like, you can go to Jilly now. Oh, no, sorry, there's another part. Yeah, I forgot. After that, they're like, oh, hey, we got the eggs, Easter saved. And then there's like...
You still do actually just go to Jilly, and then Nana's like, I'm stinky because of the chickens.
Yeah.
Can you hand out the thank you presents for the people helping out with the event this year?
So, and that's just another of those where you like meet people that you have talked to before in the MSQ or otherwise. There's
Did you recognize them all?
Kane Senna and her Wood Whaler guy, the 3 Adventurers Guild leaders, and the last one was the princess from the... What's it called?
From Suino Sato. Kurenai.
Yes. Yeah, Kurenai is her name, sorry.
Oh, wow. Traveled pretty far.
Yeah. And then you have 3 things to give them. It doesn't seem to matter what you give them. They just give you different funny
flavor text.
And
you can do it over and over again if if you want to see what they say to each present you give them.
Yes. And then after that, it's essentially over. You can do the fates again, and like we said, you can repeat the gift giving thing. I don't know what
go on. Doing the fate one time is enough to get all the exclusive items from this year's event, which is nice. They've been doing this recently. They haven't been forcing us to do things over and over again.
Right. So that's Hatching Tide. I'd give it a clean 6 out of 10. Oh. It's an okay event. It's not bad, but it's not spectacular. Actually, I might bump it up a little just because I like that it's quick and easy. And then
I would give it a solid B.
A B.
I give it 2 stars out of 5.
Okay. You know what? I should be
very
like
low.
I'll give it what would that be? A 4 out of 6 on a dice.
I hate the dice thing. Why are you Norwegians fucking weird?
Okay, let's move on. That was the seasonal event. Now we can talk about stuff that relates to the patch. And oh boy, World Visit Gate 2021. As the patch was rolled out across the world, something happened to a system that I would be terrified of. Like this was my biggest fear when this came out. This World Visit system is that you're transferring your character to another server. There is like a risk here. You know it is. But you just trust the system. You trust that the devs have made it a safe system. Well, that came crashing down on April 13th on patch day, as people who were on certain worlds found it difficult to get back and difficult to get to certain worlds. So a message popped up on the lodestone with the most This is a terrifying post. We have confirmed that using the World Visit system may result in the destination worlds being unavailable. In order to perform investigations on this issue, we will temporarily suspend the World Visit system. If you are currently not on your home world, we kindly ask for your patience until we resume operations of the World Visit system. Updates will follow as additional information becomes available. Now that is scary. Because you are trapped now. And there's like no way.
My retainers. I need to throw my items.
Right. So it's patch day. Maybe you're like on a different server. Maybe you want to do, I don't know, you can do maps, right? With people. And you're like, I'm going to get so much money. And you have all these items on you. And then you're going to go back home and sell it. You're stuck. And you know that the longer you stay here, the more those prices will drop as people do maps. And it was the moment I saw that message, I'm like, oh fuck, this is going to be a real problem. And on the same day, just a few hours later, 2 hours, about almost 2 hours later, another post is made. Even scarier. Temporary suspension of automatic housing demolition. Which was another problem I didn't even think about. It's like, if you get stranded on another server, that housing timer is ticking. And the fact that they posted this only 2 hours after they're like, we've confirmed there's an issue. And they're like, this might be a bigger issue than we thought. So they suspend automatic housing demolition. This is a separate notice. Due to the suspension of the world visit system, it may possibly be preventing players... I love that. It may possibly be preventing players from returning to their home worlds and causing housing to be automatically demolished unintentionally. May it possibly be preventing players? Really? No, I think it definitely is preventing people. Therefore, we have decided to temporarily suspend the automatic housing demolition. So, if you are on a different world right now, your pulse should be you are stressed. Because they've just suspended housing demolition, which means they're like, this might take a very long time. And it doesn't get any better because a follow-up, this doesn't have the time on it, but I think it's on the same day. We would like to share an update regarding the issue with worlds being unavailable when using the world visit system. Investigation results have confirmed that the issue cannot be reproduced on the development team's system environment and will require a maintenance on all worlds to be performed in order to address the issue. That's
spicy. It's scary.
Yeah, I don't like that. That's a scary thing to read. And especially considering, well, I'll just go on with this post. A fix is required to the server in charge of processing each world, and because it must be handled with extreme care and potential fixes must be validated first, we believe that the world visit system must be suspended for several days. While we understand this may greatly inconvenience players currently visiting other worlds, we kindly ask for your patience until the world visit system resumes operation. This is to me is pure nightmare fuel. Like
this one for days.
Yes, and and the fact that they said that they were unable to they could not reproduce this means that they had no fucking idea what was going on. So that is terrifying. And the character data is now on a different server. And what if this is my new home now? Like, what is happening? Am I going to get stuck in the void? Yeah. So
pay for that.
Emergency maintenance was then announced, and then there was another update. We have conducted the final checks to go along with the emergency maintenance on all worlds to address the issue occurring with the world visit system and had confirmed them to be resolved. So we would like to announce that the world visit system will resume at the end of the emergency maintenance. So they found it, they fixed it. As stated in the emergency maintenance notice, this issue could not be reproduced on the development team's system, and as such, certain verifications could not be conducted. So we will continue to monitor the situation and will notify you as soon as we can conclude that the problem is finally resolved. Still, they're like, okay, we have probably fixed it. We're going to turn it back on and hope for the best.
Right now, hurry.
I feel like when I logged on, I'd be like hesitant to travel back. I'd be like, oh, am I going to be the first to get stuck? But apparently that worked. There was an update. We have been monitoring the situation since the world visit system recommenced, and no issues have developed so far. So we were able to confirm that the fix we implemented for a program has resolved the issue that occurred with the world visit system. And then shortly after, housing demolition timers were resumed. What a journey.
Not shortly after. It was actually...
Oh, yeah, that was...
It's not resumed. It hasn't resumed yet.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Regarding the temporary suspension of the automatic housing demolition timer, the issues that occurred with the world visit system has been resolved. So the timer will restart on April 19th, 2021. I wonder why it didn't start immediately. I wonder if it's because... Are they...
Pay for time to get back.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
It is the first time... No, it's not the first time the world visit system has fucked up, but this is the first time it's been this bad. And it's scary that they don't seem to know what happened. Still, there's still a bit of a mystery. They're still monitoring. It definitely puts the whole data center travel system a bit in a. I don't know where that's, because we know that the Steam patch notes. Or the link to the patch notes had a mention of 5.58 as the release date for that. It was then pulled, and I think that was a good idea now, because I'm doubtful that that's gonna happen now. This might have happened because of that. Maybe they've added some code that's supposed to work with the upcoming data center travel system, and it didn't work. I don't know. It kind of shows the danger of using a system like that, because again, you are literally moving your character from one server to the other. To us, it's like very quick. It just happens like that. But it's scary. That is scary when it doesn't work.
Don't get lost in the flow. Don't be like Y'shtola.
Yeah, don't disappear in the live stream, people. So there you go. Careful. I never use the world visit system. I am.
You have no reason to. You're in a privileged position where people will come to your world.
What does that mean? Like
it means that because you're a public figure, you're never likely to go to other people's worlds because you have the ability to make other people come to yours.
Yeah, but I feel like people use it for other things. Don't they do it for like they do it for market boards, to sell shit, to like
We got Ragnarok.
You can't sell things on other worlds. You can buy things from
you
other
can
worlds.
buy and then sell in your own, right? I don't know what people what is that all it's for? Is it just for visiting other people?
I mean, I use it for trains. I'll be like,
You can do it
hunts.
Maps and hunts, yeah.
Yeah. Hunts are that's definitely, and I just don't do hunts. But even then, every time, because I'm part of Hunt Link Shells, and they often go hunt on Omega, and I'm like, I'm not traveling to Omega. I just have this fear of going to Omega and then being stuck on Omega. The thought scares me.
That fear could have been realized if only you did hunts.
Yeah. Thank God I didn't. Thank God I didn't.
My recommendation moving forward would be generally make sure that you are on your home server going into any major patch.
Yes. People that weren't on their main server during a patch, why? Why were you not? I'm
because you might want to do content with your friends.
Move. Transfer. Just transfer. Transfer to their server. It's safer. I mean, it's more expensive, but I mean, it's better that than the fear of being stuck on that server forever. Okay. All right. That's World Visit. Let's talk about an interview that was done on the PlayStation blog by Matt Hilton. Well, this is just an excerpt from it. We're not going to read the whole thing. It's just because it's just stuff we already know. It's the last part of the interview that's really interesting. It is with lead project manager Matsuzawa. Sorry, I turned Norwegian there. Well, I'll just read this part. It's about the PS5 open beta. Headline is even more to look forward to. The PS5 open beta is bringing a lot to the table in terms of upgrades, but we aren't stopping there. The team is looking to add even more in the future. Matsuzawa says, we are thinking of eventually upgrading in-game textures in phases and are starting initial preparations for that update. However, so first of all, before we get to the however, exciting. That is exciting to hear from the lead project manager. That means it's happening. We're going to get better textures. However, we do need to keep in mind that other platforms, and I am so sorry about what I'm about to read, but this era is about to begin, including the PlayStation 4 version, are still in service. Oh no. PS4 limitations has begun.
Other platforms, including the PS4 version.
Yeah.
What other platforms are they talking about? Old computers?
Yeah. I guess.
Your old PC running XP.
Look,
can't run 14 anymore. But,
the thing with PC though is that PC can have graphic options, right? You can tweak and shit. I just went into the PS5 version the other day just to see, and by the way, haptic feedback in the controller, like for every footstep, is a bit much. I'm just gonna say that.
By default?
Yeah, it's not like a heavy rumble, but it's like thump, 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 every time you walk, and I'm like, I don't know.
Was it? Just fucking kill your battery by doing that.
Yes, but if you go into the options, there's no like real graphic updates. They have like, why do they presume? Why can we not have graphic settings for consoles? Is there any reason for it? Like
because it's a standard system, so they assume there's absolutely no need to change things.
Yeah, but
games do have them now.
Yeah, but in 14, it's just very dumbed down. It's like, oh, you want HD 1080p, 2K, or 4K, and then that's the only setting controls you really have.
Oh yeah, they don't go any more depth than that.
Yeah, there's nothing else. Which I find strange, but that's what I mean with like older computers. Like the PC version of 14 has graphic options, so low-end PCs can just set them to the lowest setting, and still you can play on a potato, and there would be no problem, right? So that's why every time we bring up the old computers argument, my counter argument is, well, they can play on the lowest settings. And that should be fine. They should know that their computer can't run a 4K 60 or 120 FPS game, right? That's impossible on a Windows 98 running on 512 megabytes of RAM. It's impossible. So sorry. It seems like the lead project manager has introduced PS4 limitations a bit prematurely, I would say, but okay. Since Final Fantasy XIV is an MMO, we need to place some emphasis on being able to simultaneously render player characters and their equipment while still ensuring everything works smoothly. We do need to take care of planning major updates like this and start with testing and verifying it all works well. Plus, assets that we created nearly 10 years ago didn't factor in the possibility of being displayed at the high resolutions available to us today. So we have to think about how to revise quite a massive amount of assets efficiently. We are also looking to add additional trophies to 14 on a regular basis, given that the trophy system is now more flexible in that regard. Things are in progress, but would appreciate your patience for future updates regarding this.
Was 1080p such a mystery and a dream and a fantasy in 2012?
It really is odd, but we know why they did it. It's the PS3. It's just the PS3, because 1.0... I'm sorry to bring it up, but it is actually relevant here. 1.0 had higher res textures. It was definitely better. You can, just look at any equipment or gear from 1.0 and you'll be like, wow. Don't look at the world around you. Just look at the character and it would be like, wow, that's a current gen game. The PS3 fucked, essentially, I think the PS3 just fucked everything up, and they couldn't afford... haven't we talked about this before? Like, remember, they were pressed for time. They didn't have like the funds to make like I don't know. I don't remember exactly what it was, but also didn't they like lose all their texture files?
How is that possible? How?
Yeah, they've said they don't have the original texture files to up-res them at this point.
Yes. Yeah.
You saved them at like 256 by 256.
Yeah.
What the fuck happened?
Yeah. So it's a big job to redo these textures.
I'll also say assets that were created nearly 10 years ago. Kian's code.
Yeah. And also the assets that were created 10 years ago, so that would include 1.0. So
yeah,
you scaled those down. So, and then you apparently lost the files. So I don't know. It's a mystery. Yeah, I don't know.
Chad is bringing up, this is the same company that lost the original Kingdom Hearts.
That's true. They have lost a lot of original stuff. Yeah, it's not good. Well, there you go. I'm excited to see that. Even if he did bring up the PS4 like that, I think the PS4 is definitely able to run this game with higher resolution textures, and I feel like at least they can add the option to like revert back to they're not going to remove the low res textures. They'll still be there will probably be an option to switch to that. Maybe they'll make that option unavailable for PS4. Who knows? Even though that's not something they want, Like they want the game to be uniform on all platforms. They want it to look the same, but yeah, we'll see. Okay, anything is better than the Minecraft textures that we have right now.
Oh, so many staircases.
I mean, Grahatia looked like a Minecraft ore. Like he looked like you just dug through a piece of stone and there it is. There's the ore that I need. There's the diamond ore.
But that bread though.
Yeah, and then you get like weird shit like the bread.
The Archon loaf. Why is it so detailed?
Yeah. Remember when Krile actually took a bite of it?
Yeah, I was like, wow, this is the future.
Oh, God. I love when we get excited over such mundane things because this game has like always made shortcuts. But like the idea that we could see someone take a bite out of a high-res piece of bread is crazy.
Wasn't there one time that I think, was it our character that was drinking something and we saw like the water
It was Thancred.
Was it Thancred?
Yeah. Thancred was, yeah. Water being poured. We've seen water being poured was crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, it was great.
We're so spoiled.
Yeah. Okay, let's get into the spoiler section of this. We're talking about the MSQ first. So hopefully most of you have done the MSQ at this point. I would assume most of you have it. I mean, at this point, it's almost... Come on. You've done the MSQ. Come on.
It's the weekend. You should have done it.
Yeah. Anyways, just to prevent people from accidentally clicking in here, let's make sure everyone is aware. There we go. Here we go. Main story MSQ 5.5. We'll do we'll review it overall at the end of this. Like talk about what we think about it. But for now, we'll just go through it. So we start the MSQ in the almost said Waking Sands, Rising Stones.
Waking Sands.
Shush! Shut up.
I always do that too. All right, so he gives us an update about Garlemald. There is a silence all over Garlemald, except the Imperial Palace. There are citizens that are working around, like they're building something. They're transforming the palace, and there's no one barking orders. There's no, you know what Garleans do when they build stuff. Like there's a lot of people just pointing and shit. No one's pointing. They
are but ants.
They are but ants.
As, the hive. I guess bees would have been a better example.
Yeah, it's a bit scary. I don't like the idea, the implication that like all of Garlemald is like just zombies. It's so horrible.
Yeah, that's absolutely terrifying.
Yeah. So the Scions are invited to meet with the city-state leaders in Alamigo.
It's the one place we have a table big enough to account for everyone.
The comically large table. The Yustola says she wants to stay behind. She wants to talk to something with Krile, isn't it? And she's being very coy about it. She's not really saying anything. So we head to the massive. So on our way to the massive table meeting, we meet Arnvald.
Our boy.
Yes. Yeah. So he's reintroduced into the story, which, I mean, I'm suspicious when a character that has not been present for a while suddenly appears. Usually that means, that's a red flag in my book. And we did talk about Arnvald possibly being harmed last week, I believe. So at this meeting, Lise explains essentially the situation that took place at the end of the previous patch, where the scouting party that was in Garabania to inspect the tower returned and tried to kill them while shouting "Glory be to Garlemald."
It was all okay. Nothing happened to them.
She was very matter of fact when she says, "Then they tried to kill us."
Yeah. But then they fixed them. They cured them. And the last...
Very convenient now.
Yes. Yes. So the scouting party members then said that the last thing they remembered when they approached the tower was this like ear-splitting roar and then lights out, which is terrifying. Also, I don't like that. That's all it took, and then you're a zombie essentially.
Yeah. And we don't know where it really came from. I mean, assumedly the tower, but like, what is causing the sound within the tower?
Right. So we also learned that it's not only the Amalja, other beast tribes are being abducted as well. The Ixal are being abducted as well.
Were being kidnapped.
Yes.
But, some temple knights were able to free them.
Yep. Yeah, go on.
I was just going to say, I feel like this is the first time we've heard Ixal since A Realm Reborn, so I guess that's still canon.
Yeah.
You're still alive.
Ixal. It's really nice because you are now seeing... It's a little... It's not as clear here, but like... The Ishgard saved Ixals. Like, they saved them. They rescued them. So this is sort of like I would call it like a C plot here in this whole story, is that it's showing that we've really warmed up to all of the beast tribes at this point. It's going to get more apparent when we get further into this, but yeah, it's a nice thing to see. It's also, you could say, another one of those like 1.0 storylines, like with the constant conflict with the beast tribes, and then over time we've like learned that why are we calling them beast tribes? Like they speak our tongue, they are just as intelligent as us. Like then we've learned that we are the baddies actually.
We're the racists.
Yes. So, in agreement, so they agree that they agree to a plan to pin Sir Garlemald into submission. That will have to wait. Sorry. The plan to pin Sir Garlemald into submission will have to wait until they're dealt with the towers. They have more pressing issues right now. These mysterious towers. So Arnvold and Ferdola, Raban reveals, have been recruited to investigate those towers because they are immune to tempering, which is convenient. Second red flag pops up. We're going to send those two alone in there. It's interesting because Ferdola is so angry. Like, she's very angry throughout all of this. But it is revealed that Ferdola... Well, I guess that's later. That Ferdola actually volunteered to do this. It's sort of implied during this scene that she's sort of not got much of a choice. But she was actually given a choice for this.
Yes.
She wants to be a good guy now.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's necessarily that she wants to be a good guy. It's just
she's conflicted.
Worked for Garlemald.
Yeah.
So she wants to know what has happened to this empire that I worked for, and what is happening with Xenos, this person that I worked very closely with when I worked for Garlemald.
That's she's kind of doing it for her own reasons, I would say. There's a fist bump between Alphino and
I enjoy any cutscene where characters make physical contact with one another.
Again, we're so spoiled with that stuff.
Yeah. So Ironvolt and Fredola sent out to investigate the tower in Pagelthan. That's when we decide to head to Ishgard because Estinian has returned there.
Taro informs us via link pearl.
Yes. A lot of people were seemingly very caught off guard by the link pearl usage in this. I've seen that on Twitter.
Were they?
Yeah. Because it apparently doesn't happen that often anymore, which also because they use link pearl a lot in this in this story. In this particular patch, that's a lot of link pearl talk. And I cannot stop thinking about how Mikote use link pearls, because the link pearl is literally a pearl from a specific type of clam, and they have to be from the same family to resonate the same sound, if I remember correctly. That's how they work. So they literally grow them, I believe, to like be in the same. So the same family, that's one number, right? That's how it's supposed to work. I don't know if they've probably changed the lore a bit, but it's literally a pearl. And the ears, I always picture them like, because you know how cat ears work, right? There's like a hole down. So they just they hold the link pearl up here and they just bloop, and it just drops in and then into the ear hole. Every time.
That's an excellent question. How do Aura use link pearls?
They just press it up against their horns, I guess.
Oh, okay.
It's not what it looks like in cutscenes.
Wait, do they put their finger up to their head still? Like,
yeah. They do.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, they do. Because I know Mikote, they do put their fingers up more like.
Yeah, Mikote do put their fingers up higher. So do Viera.
Yeah. Okay, so Link Pearl lore is all pearls in a link shell come from a master pearl now. There you go. There it is. Okay. Anyways, so we find. So there's this whole thing where you have to look for Estinian in Ishgard. And surprisingly, we don't find him. He's not here. And then I guess we go to the airship landing. And while there, I guess we just talk about him for a little bit. And then Estinian walks in. And the funniest scene in this patch happens where Estinian is like, "Oh, you look an elm taller and twice as rugged," and it's Alize. He thinks he's talking to Alphino, and he does the head pat, and she's fucking losing her shit. And it was very funny, and it's sort of she would continue to like just hold a grudge, like she doesn't like Estinian from that point on, which is very funny. And then,
do you like this term that I made?
I don't like erection.
What did you write here?
Okay. I don't like that either. Anyways, I already knew that something was going to happen because Graha was talking about him in such a weird way prior to this scene. He was like, "Oh, the Azure Dragoon." Ooh. I'm like, "Oh, please don't. I don't want you to do what I think you're going to do." And then he does what I thought he was going to do. He fanboyed in front of Estinian, which was funny.
I mean, how could you not? It's Estinian.
I guess. He's the closest thing to like a superstar in AOC, I guess.
It's because Graha has read about all these people. It would be like getting to go back in time and meet someone.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. That's true.
Also, it's kind of funny because Graha is like 100-year-old man.
Yes, that's also true. So Alize also tells us that Alphino would not befriend other boys growing up. But now he has Ironvolt and Estinian.
Alize like throwing Alphino under the bus that he was low-key sexist as a kid.
Aren't we all as children?
So Estinian says that he was headed to speak with Tiamat to investigate whether she has any if she knows anything about the Lunar Bahamut summoning. So we head to Asisla in the Bonanza. Still a funny name. Can't unhear the theme song for that TV show every time I read that name.
And it's pink.
It is pink. Yes, it is pink. So we meet with Tiamat, who is still chained up in Azizla. She is unaware of Lunar Bahamut's summoning, and she concludes that it was most likely Mericidian dragons captured by the Alligans that were forced to summon him. Now, there's also a piece of text here that is different based on whether you completed the coils or not. If you have cleared coil, Alice will say that there were dragons locked in inside of the coils. And if you have not cleared coil, they will just discuss the dragons in Azizla. So that's that. Not much difference, but I do like that they still keep on that, like with Alice. It's like an ongoing reward for clearing coil is that she will still reference it.
Such a major plot point. It's hard to avoid writing around.
Coil should never have been optional. The coil story is the biggest crime that they have ever committed in this game. That should have been MSQ. And the fact that it isn't is unforgivable. The fact that so many people, especially now, will probably never clear coil. Like, cause
go do coil. Go do it, guys.
If you haven't done coil, do coil. It's so easy now. But yeah, it has really, really important story in it. Okay. So she she refuses to help, but there is a twist. She says she was actually tempered in Bahamut's original summoning and worries that what would happen if she's freed. Now, there's a piece of information that I believe we did not have before. It explains why she has remained locked like this. She's tempered.
So
So
don't trust herself to be free.
no. Alice then says that we need to cure her of tempering, which she's quite a big entity. So
and very old,
and also a dragon. So it's there's a lot of we don't know if that's if our cure is compatible with her. So we go with Alphino and Estinian to the flagship to find a way of getting Tiamat free, because she is held by Allagan technology, so she needs to be freed. Now, I was always under the impression the first time we met her, she gave us the impression that she could easily break out, but I guess she lied.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, she lied because she was
embarrassed. Oh.
Maybe because she didn't want us to I don't know why
try.
she would. Yeah, she doesn't want us to even try, because she's like, I can break out whenever I want. But yeah, she cannot. All right. So oh yes. Okay. So there's some lore that was dropped as well. There's the when was this? When did we get this lore drop with debt to Hydaelyn? Was that? And that's debt, not death. Yes?
She mentions it when Alizé says, we could cure you, and then she's like, I can finally fulfill my debt to Hydaelyn.
Yes, because Hydaelyn provided sanctuary to Tiamat and the First Brood when their world was destroyed. So... Again, I'm trying to picture... Again, I'm thinking space and planets. I don't like it when I'm reminded of that. But there it is again.
There's just some field at which in space is no longer sundered.
Yes. Yes.
There's the Hydaelyn space, and then once you go beyond it... It's so confusing because if you go beyond it and you come back, is it possible to come into one of the other shards?
Maybe?
Because everything beyond this beyond the pocket of space that is Hydaelyn is not sundered.
Maybe the source is the universe, and then like our universe, and then the shards are just other dimensions, right? So they're pocket universes. The shards are the pocket universes.
They seem to not have dragons.
Well, yeah, because they're pocket universes. So maybe they just have a tiny pocket. There are no other planets around the other shards.
Oh, okay. I can get that actually.
Don't know. I don't know. They said don't think about it, so I don't think we should. There's a point in when we arrive at the flagship where Graha's like, okay, but you need some of my blood, man. Have this blood vessel, dude.
the tincture of fucking Graha just carries on him,
which he's just carrying with him.
So Rambros mentioned, Nikhil.
Yes, Rambros was mentioned. It's part of like their research, and
Is it possible to further transfer Allegan blood?
Yes,
in the same way that the princess once did to Graha's line.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. I feel like we're missing the whole. Yes. So before we do the untempering,
I skipped it because it's so.
I thought it was so funny because there's a point where you're essentially looking for the node in charge of releasing the restraints on Tiamat, right? So you go around talking to all these nodes, and they're all broken, and they don't it's an old system. They haven't been used in a while. There's this weird point where you go back and report to Alphino, and you're like, he's like, oh, what did you find? And one of the options was like, I found a node that smelled like burnt hair. And I'm like, there's no, I don't know what that, what? Obviously I picked that. But yeah, so you finally find the node you're looking for. And it's like, oh, I require a system update. And and that's so funny because they have no idea what that means, and rightly so.
Yeah.
Why would they? And they're like, what the fuck does that mean, system update? But Estinian is the funniest one because he, first of all, doesn't understand shit, and he also doesn't care. So it's like there's a point where you can scan the blood because he's like, oh, I need authorization. And you scan the blood, and he's like, okay, what's your name? And then you can pick Estinian Wormblood, and he's like, I'm gonna fucking destroy you if that thing says my name. So you're forced to change the name back to your own.
Also, you can also say Alphino. If you pick either Alphino or Estinian, the Warrior of Light will imitate how they stand when he says their names. Like for Estinian, if you pick Estinian, the Warrior of Light will cross their arms as they say Estinian's name. And then if you say Alphino, he'll do that thing where he puts his hand on his chest as he speaks.
Okay. All right. Okay. So he's like, okay,
if you pick Alphino, Alphino will be like, that's confusing. Just use your own name, please.
Right. All right. So you get it tells you where to go to perform the system update. You go to the terminal, and then he's like, oh, I'm very far behind on the updates. Like this is going to take...
It's 5 years, 1 day.
Yes. 5 years, 1 day. It also said it was 2020 years behind on something, which I thought was interesting.
2020 years.
Yeah. We get it to work. I think we figure out where it is. Like, we found the terminal.
Yes. We
find a way to do it manually, without that stupid node doing it. Well, it can tell you the instructions, but they might be out of date. So back
1,000 years.
Yeah. So we go back to Tiamat.
Before that, this is also actually the part where Estinian asks us, "What are we gonna do when we meet Fandaniel?"
Oh yes, there's that as well. Yeah. There's do we? Oh yeah, we do see Fandania. We'll get to it. All right. So now it's time to untemper Tiamat. We have Angelo, which apparently is enough. We don't need a bigger pig.
Can we? You mentioned this in the stream, and I thought this when I was doing the MSQ as well. This is a very bizarre image.
Yeah. 14 is it's like I said that when I was doing it. I'm like, if anyone just tunes into this stream right now who's never played 14, they see like this clip of this this shot of this massive dragon, this sad, somber music, and then it just cuts to like us standing there like a dragoon, and like we all look very fat, and then a flying fucking pig. This game is difficult to explain to people that don't know it. Yeah.
The fact that is after all these years, like if I told you, Lakil, back during 1.0 days, one day we will cure tempering, and all you will need is a piggy.
Oh my god, that would be horrible. Okay, so when we start untempering Tiamat, she starts to remember stuff. So she tells us that Tiamat and Bahamut left their father to make their own Aerie. They settled in Marasidia before it was named. But it's very interesting. In all the flashbacks that we see, there's like pictures on screen. Yes. Conveniently, the background is just white. There's not a single visual of what Marasidia looks like.
Sometimes you see clouds.
So there's the odd cloud every now and then. So the forest people welcomed them, which were the Sephiroth. That's who they were, the summoners of Sephiroth. I remember seeing them in the thing.
No. The ones you see are actually the summoners of Zervan. We never see the forest people.
Oh, right, Zervan, that's what it is. Sorry, I mixed them up.
We never see the forest people. The one you're talking about that you weren't sure about at the time is the centaur people that summoned Zervan.
That's who they were, right. So once men began to arrive, then later began...
Men seems to include the centaurs. The centaurs... the way Tiamat speaks, the centaurs were not there originally.
Right, okay.
Only the forest people were native to Marasidia.
Yeah. The men arrives, and then they start to fight among themselves for territory, and then they sought the wisdom of the dragons to intercede in their conflicts. So that was dynamic for a while, and then the Alligans arrived and slew Bahamut, and then that's when the Asians tricked Tiamat into resummoning him as a primal. And that is the Bahamut we know today. So we free Tiamat, and everything is fine. I do have to say, this is such a big action. I feel like there should have been a larger army presence, I feel like. Some Grand Company people, maybe, because if this failed, it would be very dangerous.
No. We have the authority to do this.
It's essentially Bahamut 2.0.
We got
this. Anyways, yeah, we fixed it. It was fine. Whew. So there's the badass moment where Tiamat just starts flying, and then Estinian just fucking jumps on her back and rides her out into the sunset, heading for Pagalthan. So we travel to Ul'dah after we've been informed that Lunar Bahamut is on his way there. And there's also, is that when we do the meeting with, Anonimo in the fragrant chamber?
We meet her.
Yeah.
No, that's later.
Oh, that's
the fragrant
later?
chamber is later.
Okay.
Nanamo comes to see us at the Hall of Flames.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
This is the Hall of Flames. Yes.
We get a nice Papa Shine cameo.
And I also felt like that was a bit of a flex of the new loading times, because we were in Azizla, it fades out, and then very quickly fades back up, and we're in the Hall of Flames. That was like a little flex.
This patch, in particular, does a lot of moving you
instant traveling
between cutscenes.
Yeah, which I like. Sometimes it's just nice to be there.
Of course, it means we didn't really get a chance to explore
True.
where Tiamat used to be sealed away.
Mm-hmm.
What are you gonna do? Sniff where her foot was? There's nothing there.
No, what I did on my ult when I went there was I wanted to check whether there was a physical object there or not, and there isn't.
Mm.
So for people that still have Tiamat, you could stick your head in her stomach and stick.
Yeah. Yeah.
It would be very immersion breaking.
Yeah.
I think this is one of the first instances where a large solid object is instanced.
Yes.
Some people can touch it and some people cannot.
Yeah.
Up until this point, the only instance objects are like walls.
But you remember they have with this patch they updated how that system works. So this might be a result of that. Remember they said that they were going to fix how like barriers and shit work in the game as well. So
yeah,
that might be
this
it.
actually gives me hope that we might one day see a fully like rebuilt Ishgard. To be honest, if they can instance it that significantly,
it can mean a lot of things to existing city states as well. There's a lot that can happen. Okay, so so Lunar Bahamut is headed for Pagalthan, and the Eorzean Alliance send troops ahead to help defend the Amalja fatherlands, and so we head out as well from the Uldair ship landing, and then the dungeon. Pagalthan.
Oh yeah.
Guess we can review that.
It's a good time. I really liked it.
Yeah.
I really liked it as well, but I've seen a lot of people that are not that high on this dungeon.
What?
That's very sad because I thought it was a very. I mean, I've never liked the aesthetic of that area, like the desert area.
That is one of the biggest disappointments I had with this dungeon, is just that the first two sections are Southern Thanalan. And I'd always pictured Pagalthan like the final section of the dungeon, and I'm disappointed that more of it is not like that.
Yes.
That place really does look pretty though. Like the plains part.
Oh,
like, it
yes.
looks really nice.
Yeah, I really did.
It's
like
very
that.
bare because it's just a dungeon area, but like,
Yeah.
man, it'd be cool if we ever get a fully realized area that's like that one day.
Yes. The bosses. Well, let's talk about like one thing I will commend it for is that it has a very easy like pull pattern. Like there's usually 3 groups. You can pull them up to a gate, and that's it. And then that's the trash. You can burn that trash. I'm just thinking about like for the future for expert roulettes. That will be a very quick dungeon to run probably. Bosses. How do you feel about the bosses? Let's talk about the first boss, which is a coil boss reskin, I believe, right?
It's a pearl dragon.
Yeah. I think
which
it's
is
from
a horribly cursed creature.
Is this the first boss of Final Coils?
Yeah, it's from turn 10.
Yeah. It repeats the mechanic from Eerie?
The first boss of the Eerie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Except everyone has to do it rather than just one person.
Yeah. Not a very exciting boss, I must say. I like the. I mean, I think the having to manage where to put the electric thing is interesting because there's like balls on the ground and you have to like find the ones that aren't in the electricity thing.
Or you can just go to the ones that are in the electricity thing and take them.
That's true. It doesn't really matter. It's a very easy boss. It doesn't have many mechanics, but it is the first boss. So I always give them a little slack. But
something I've seen a lot of people complain about, which is not related to the boss itself, is the fact that trusts will face the rear of the boss to the wall.
Oh,
interesting.
Which is not great for melee.
Sucks for you. You're phasing out positionals. You should have picked a different job.
Yeah. So the second boss is past. The second boss is past that field, which we can mention again. It looks very nice. It's where you.
It's not actually past the field. The field doesn't appear until after the second boss.
Really?
Yeah, the field's like the.
Yeah.
Sorry. That leads to that last part before Bahamut. Yeah. Sorry. So we haven't reached that part yet. Yeah. The second boss At first I'm like, ooh, this is like, it looks like, what's it called? The thing in Bosnia. That's what I first thought when I saw it, because it had 2 levels.
Oh.
But boy, was I wrong. It's Bismarck. It's essentially Bismarck, where you fight trash, and then you're allowed up on the thing, and then you damage it for as much as you can before it throws you back down, and then you have to do all the ads again.
It was a nice pace, though. I liked it.
No, it's not. I am sick of trash busters. I hate that they think this is a good idea. They did this in Amarok, and they did it here. They should not be doing it in climactic dungeons.
Oh my god, it's so. I just think it's nice because it doesn't happen as often in dungeons. It's still somewhat rare, and it goes by pretty quickly. It only takes 2 jumps to kill him because you can get.
I was so worried it was going to take 3.
Yeah.
It's 2 jumps, and you can get him down to 50% on the first one, and then he just knocks you off automatically. And the second one's just easy. I'm like, all right, that's quick, easy. The AOE's or whatever, and it's I don't know. It was fun for what it was.
It didn't really feel like a boss, but it's I guess it's nice to have something that's different, I guess. But I don't like the Bismarck stuff. I hate Bismarck. I hate artificially prolonging the life of the boss, because the boss here is that cube, right? But
It's so little life.
Yeah.
That's
it's so squishy that they had to. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. You destroy that.
It has 1 attack.
Yeah, it has 1 attack, which is defensive something, which is all it does.
You get to see all your Amalja friends cast spells too and help you out. It's like, we're fighting it together.
Yeah, and you get to see the slow-moving missiles again, which is nice.
Did you remember seeing Estinian running? No, or there's like an Amalja running towards you, being chased by a dragon.
Yeah,
and Estinian uses a jump on it, and it's
it's a Magitech Predator.
Yeah, that's
what it is. Yeah,
no sound effect.
No.
You'll hear Estinian. He has a voice line. And he's like, you don't think so, and he just kills him. But it's just silence.
Yeah.
It's so fucking funny.
Yeah.
So, a problem with this dungeon in particular, and they might fix this. Sound mixing in this dungeon is very weird.
I struggled so much during this because it was so loud and it was all over the place for me. So something's off with the sound mixing in this whole dungeon.
Before we get to the final boss, can we talk about all the people that come to help us?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of them, are there? We see Emmerich and Lucia. That's it.
Lucia. Mm-hmm.
Those are the only people from the Eorzean Alliance that we meet in this dungeon.
Very strange.
What?
Was there really no one else?
No. That's it.
Oh my god.
There's some goblins.
Oh yeah, there are goblins.
Yeah.
Are there?
Yeah.
No, kobolds.
No, kobolds. Sorry, kobolds.
Yeah, I was gonna say there are kobolds.
They're kobolds, and they're like, oh,
goblins.
Allies, help kill. That's what they do. They cheer us on.
The kobolds are already on the front lines with us.
Yeah.
They jumped in head first.
Yeah.
And then there is
cannons and shit.
Yeah, they did. And then we also have Tiamat.
Yes, we have Tiamat, who's this big dragon, very powerful. But then the moment
she's very strong.
She is strong when she does her AoE. But then when she joins your party, she auto attacks for 100 damage.
But she still does AoEs, and they still do a lot of damage.
I know, but then she hits for 100 HP. Which I thought, that's odd, but I understand why. So yes, she does hit them hard when she does the AoEs. She doesn't do the AoEs that often. It's not like it didn't blow me away when I did it the first time. I'm like, okay, that's pretty powerful. She's not going to do that every second, is she? She didn't. But I also found they shrunk her. Surely she has been shrunk in this dungeon because she is relatively small
She's
here.
just a little emaciated. She's been, she's been trapped for a while.
Yeah.
Shrinkage happens.
Yeah.
Well, she is large again for the final cutscene, by the way. Also, don't say that.
Yes. Okay, so last boss, Lunar Bahamut. I like the AoEs. Like what the markers, the telegraphs are really cool. Like psychedelic pink patterns.
We might be seeing a lot of those moving forward.
Yes, that might be a new thing. Interesting concept with the growing AoE, like the AoEs that shrink, and then you get like a safe zone, which is cool.
I believe this is the first dungeon where we have experienced Akmorn.
I'm surprised if that's the case, because there were so many dragons and.
I think they've been just relegated to mostly trials.
I guess they have just been trials, huh? Yeah. That's true. So yeah, there's some Akmorn. There's like a new like directional Akmorn that you can walk, that you have to walk out of, which is interesting. The area, I believe.
No, Akmorn is never used in the area.
Really? I have such a vivid memory of like seeing something like it, and maybe it's just a trial. Then I must be mixing it with a trial. Okay. So we kill Bahamut. Tiamat is just off. Does she mention like she's just off to like look after her children? I think there's something like that. That's what she says.
I think she's going to go find them if there's any others still out there as well.
Yeah.
Very funny though. While she's doing her AoEs, she's like, "Oh, rest well, my child," as she fucking blasts them.
Yes, we should talk about this as well. There are a bunch of like tempered dragons and the enemies in this are the tempered dragons and Garleans.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's true. They're also renamed now, because I don't think we've actually mentioned the name of what are they called again? What do they call themselves? The Telephroi. Yeah, Telephroi. So it's all like Teletech. It's not Magitech.
Teletech is all the
So they've just changed.
I don't like the tempered dragon. It doesn't make me sad.
Yeah.
Okay, their mom's still them.
Also, Nikhil, can you say this word?
Telotuliand.
Nice. I thought it would be more difficult to say.
Oh, I did it. Because
it looks horrible.
It does look horrible. That is a bad word. Okay, so a big moment at the end of this dungeon after we defeat Lunar Bahamut and Tiamat is gone. The Amalja chief comes out and he's like, "Wow, you helped us. We've seen what you've done," and essentially they agree to ally with Ul'dah.
Convenient that they're not tempered, by the way.
True. Why wouldn't they temper the chief? Like, what? He would be like a prime target, I would believe, but
it's just too strong.
Well, why is he not tempered to just Ifrit?
That's a good point. I don't know. He was voiced as well, which is important. We haven't had a voiced Amalja ever.
Dumb.
But Amalja were voiced in 1.0. So we already know what they sound like, and that was what they sounded like. So, which is not very exciting, but there you go. That's it was nice to hear a voiced Amalja again.
He was voiced by Rauban. That is true.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure they have the same voice actor.
Yes. Okay, so now we cut to inside of the tower that Arnvold and Fredola is investigating. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting on the inside.
It's like a fucking alien nest, like a xenomorph nest.
Yeah.
Yes. Full of squishy soup kitchen sounds. And there is a Magitech console, and then there's all these like meat things on the wall, and there's like Amalja just inside it in the meat.
Lost in the meat.
They're lost in the meat. And
So sad.
Arnvold tries to free one, and then they do this like disgusting like motion, and they
I don't like how they like wiggle.
No, that was disgusting. So the Amolja awaken and they scream, and there's like this alarm going off. And to me, again, this is going to be my lamp thing, but the thing that sort of reveals that this isn't pure Garlean. I mean, besides from the fucking meat on the floor, the alarm isn't a Garlean alarm. It's like a different sound. So this is from a different civilization. So they try to leave.
I mean, the console is not actually a typical Garlean console either.
No, it is not. It is not. So when they try to leave, a lunar Ifrit drops from the ceiling, catches Fordola by surprise, and then Arnvold jumps in to defend her. Cut.
In the stupidest way,
yes.
I have to say.
He has a shield! He has a shield!
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So that's
Hard cut.
Yeah. Well, apparently it seems like the console is Garlean. So I don't know
is
what
it?
that. Yeah, the same as in the Oratorium.
Okay.
Yeah. The alarm, though, is one I've never heard before. Because we all know what a Garlean alarm sounds like.
Yeah. We've heard it many times before.
Yeah. Returning, let's see. Returning to Ul'dah, Nanamo thanks us for the efforts in Pagelthan, but also has to break the news that Arnvold has returned gravely injured. So Fordola has carried him back. He's being treated at the Fronticery. So that's where Alphino rushes down to, and Ferdola's waiting outside. Alphino is big sad.
Why are you laughing?
Fordola pushes the child.
What did you want me to say? How did you want me to describe it? Fordola pushes the child.
It was just, I mean, that's what happened. She pushes the child. So she's like, get a fucking grip. This is the world. This is the real world.
And then she says, your stupid idealism will get people killed.
Yes.
It already has.
Yes. Also, we haven't talked about this yet, but there's a lot of mention of Alphino growing up, which is, again, another thing we talked about either last episode or a few episodes ago, where we talked about like the prospect of ever seeing them like grow up. And this patch really talks about it a lot. Like a lot. They even bring up like how Ellison like people grow, like that Oriange didn't really grow like up to his size until he was like 20. Yeah. So that's interesting. It might be, maybe we will see something one day where he grows up a bit more. It's just
still hope that after the events of 6.0 we get a time skip.
Yeah.
One day, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. So, Estinian then defends Alphino's idealism. Like they do that, by the way, very close to where we are standing. And if Ul'dah is very echoey. I'm pretty sure they could have heard everything they were saying, because they weren't like whispering or anything. It was just like straight up talking to her, like quite loudly. And he's like standing up for Alphino, and it's just Estinian character development ? Like something like we don't really. Estinian is an interesting character because we know a lot about him, but we don't really know what he's like. Do you know? Do you know what I mean?
He's had a lot of time to develop off screen.
Yes, that's true.
He's a little bit of a fucking weirdo.
What do you mean?
He's just kind of like a little off, you know?
Yeah. He's
a grumpy loner.
Yeah, he's a grumpy loner.
He's a grumpy loner that's being forced to work with us because there's a tiny woman that keeps chasing him.
Yeah. Okay, so Nanamo then invites the Scions to a debriefing. That's in the fragrant chamber.
Yes.
So, does anything else happen in there? Why do I remember that so much? I guess it was just. No, they just said, chill. You will fix.
I think you might have. Maybe you're thinking about the fact that Pippin is there but doesn't.
Pippin is in the room, right?
I
And
love my son.
yeah, and then she's like, okay, well, Pippin, why don't you explain the plan for, like, I think they're talking about the Amalja stuff or something. There's something he's going to give us that he's giving us the debriefing, I think. And then she just turns to him.
Yeah.
And he just starts. And then fade
And
out.
it fades to black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was not voiced, which was a shame. I like Pippin. Okay, so we're about to leave when Estinian gets Link Pearl call.
Well, no, Thancred gets it.
Thancred gets it.
And then he's like, yeah, Kryle wants you to come along too.
Oh, yes, sorry, yes. Kryle, yes. Return to the Rising Stones, including Estinian. This is the most exciting part, almost, of the whole thing. Which is when Kryle... So we meet with Kryle at the Rising Stones, and she's like...
Just quickly, I like when Estinian calls her that Baldessian woman.
Baldessian woman, yes. So Kryle says that she intends to travel to Sharlayan. In an effort to both learn more of their enemy and maybe convince Sharlayan to intervene. That is very exciting. I mean, we've been theorizing that we're going to Sharlayan for a while. It would be almost, at this point, I feel like that's confirming it. The fact that it was brought up like this and that she's actually going there and that they're talking about having them intervene, which is like, as if you know Sharlayan lore, they don't do that. So that's going to be a hard sell. So I feel like that's very exciting.
She's going to have to lean hard on the fact that if you don't do something, we're going to die.
Yes.
About that, do you have any proof?
Oh God. And then there's another interesting question. So another thing that we have talked about for many episodes is the absence of Hydaelyn. And Y'shtola just asks us straight up, when did you last hear Hydaelyn? When did she last speak to you? Which is felt like a pop quiz when she does that. It's like,
I know.
Have you paid attention? Here's a surprise question. When was the last time she talked to you?
There were a few pop quizzes in this patch, actually. We'll get to more later.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So
if you pick the ellipses, she's like, don't worry, I'm not quizzing you. It certainly feels like it.
Yeah.
And then she goes on to say, has it just been so long that you don't remember the last time she spoke to you?
Well, the last time she did speak to us was at the end of Heavensward, the Dragon Song War. After that, all that we've heard from her is through Minfilia.
Or her just perpetual call out.
Oh yeah, hear, feel, think. Yeah. So she's bringing us on track to that as well. It's like that final setup. Like, you know that you're at the end of the patch now. Everything's being set up for the next patch. So she's bringing Hydaelyn back into this. Sharlayan is being brought in, and then Kryle turns to Estinian, asks, "Can you just please stick around? Because now I'll be gone. So could you be there and just help the Scions prevent the end of days?" And he's like, "All right." Also, if you talk to him after this, he's asking if you can tell Tataru or something to bring him dried squid, because that's like his thing.
Yeah, he asks if the Scions have any contacts with the Far East because he hasn't been able to find anyone else that can import it.
Dried squid. Okay, and then the last scene is meanwhile at the Imperial Palace, and it is just that scene with all the weapons on the floor. and Fandaniel is like, oh, Fandaniel's been like fucking farming weapons for Xenos. And Xenos is looking around on all the weapons, and he picks up the most boring sword. I think it's the Susano. Is it this? I think it's the Susano sword, or the Samurai sword.
I don't know the specific sword it was.
And he's just, I don't even remember what they talk about. I don't think they say anything.
He throws the sword at Fandaniel.
Yeah, he throws it at him, and then
He's upset, about Bahamut. He's like, "Why would you remind me of this failure?"
Yes.
Right now,
He actually seems angry for once.
Yes, he does, because they technically lost like a battle, like that was a loss for them. So he finally he sees something that he would like. He walks towards it. He picks it up. It makes like a sound, and then it cuts.
Oh my god!
And if you were thinking of playing with the angles in that cutscene, don't even bother. There's nothing there.
Nope.
Yeah,
nope. But it does make a sound. So it is something sharp. So
yes,
it could be a scythe.
Mm-hmm.
It could. I mean, it has not. Yeah. So the scythe hope still lives on.
That's assuming a lot, though.
Yeah.
Whatever Xenos is picking is going to be a weapon for a new job, which will be available to us too. I'm not saying it won't happen, but it's kind of assuming whatever.
Xenos has only had jobs we can do.
Yes.
Of his one job he has. It has been a job that
What a pattern.
If the one job he had, it was a job that was made available to us in that expansion.
Which isn't saying that doesn't mean they can pull off him just using a weapon for a job we don't have. I mean, they can do that. There's nothing that's preventing them from doing that. Well, no, in about a month, that's when the patch comes out. It's the end of May? ? It's after FanFest. But I do not remember if we have it. We don't have a date. I think it's end of May, if I remember the slide correctly.
End of May, and it's after the FanFest, so that leaves 2 Tuesdays for it to happen on.
Mm-hmm. So that is the MSQ. What do you think about it? How do you feel about this? Overall, as a 0.5 patch, was it good? Like, was it how you expected it to be?
Yes.
Yes.
It had a good cutoff point for a 0.5 patch.
Mm-hmm.
Going for the second part, because fucking 4.5, that cutoff was like
that was
I was really kind of peeved about where it stopped. But here, it feels like I've gotten some good answers and some nice questions, and I'm okay to wait.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And I think I felt like that for 3.5 as well. I can't remember.
I mean, 3.5's cutoff point is just after Papa Lemo sacrifices himself.
Yes, we're left with that moon in the sky. I think I don't know what I expected. So to me, it feels like a very obvious setup patch. I am very happy that there was the end of one conflict, like the Amaldir conflict ended in this patch. That's good. I like seeing that. That's progress in a setup patch, if you know what I mean. I didn't expect that, so that was very nice. I like seeing.
I wasn't expecting to defeat Luna Bahamut now.
No, see, that was very early. Yeah, which is a good sign because that means there's way more waiting, more threats waiting. At first, I was a little disappointed because I thought it was going to be a better because they said there was going to be a cliffhanger this time, and to me it was the Xenos pulling the weapon is the cliffhanger. But then in retrospect, the cliffhanger is more subtle because it's with Y'shtola bringing up Hydaelyn, it's with Kryl mentioning Charlie, and that's the cliffhanger. That's what you want to see. They're introducing what we'll be dealing with in the next patch. I hope the cliffhanger is not 0.55 because that will be it will be, won't it? Because it'll be the
it will be a
setup for the
cliffhanger.
expansion. Yeah.
We still need there are still many moments in the patch trailer that we have yet to see.
Mhm.
We have not seen us fighting all those lunar primals.
No.
We have not seen when we speak with that glowing person in Mordona.
Right. Oh god, that is exciting.
Hien does not exist in this patch yet.
He does not. He's only mentioned once, I think. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. There's a lot still that remains in the MSQ, and that is very exciting.
We need to resolve whether.
What, Rollo?
Sorry, what?
So they talk about the Minfilia thing too, which was
Yes.
another always pressing question we always had, which is exciting to hear. So
Yeah.
We need to see whether our sacrificial Alamegan passes away or not.
Right. That too.
I'm not gonna die in bed. That'd be so fucking lame.
It'll be very he might be fucked up though. It might have done something to him, but
I kind of would be. I mean, I'd hate it. I'd find it kind of like intriguingly dark if they make him, they incapacitate him now, and we're like, surely he has to pull through, and then he doesn't in the next part of the patch.
Listen, if they kill Arenvald to fucking give Fordola character development, I'm gonna riot. Have a riot.
Yeah.
No, how about this, Rollo? They kill Arenvald to give Alphino character development.
Yeah.
No. Don't sacrifice someone else's character development. You're too good. He's just a good boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's had a hard life. I don't want him to pass away now.
So we have there's a lot of stuff. We need to talk about the 4K HUD changes.
Texture pack.
Not texture pack. Oh boy, I wish it was. Just the HUD for now. Yeah. What did you say, Rollo?
Did you notice?
Yes.
Okay.
I noticed it. It's not as eye-popping as I thought it would be, but you notice it on the name tags, like on people's names. You can read it more clearly now. Like it's very washed out if you revert it back. It's very crisp. There's the icons look great, and the best part for me is that I have always had the fitting room window, like the one when you try on gear, at like 200%, so that you can get a bigger box.
Oh, fucking blurry.
Yeah, and it used to be so blurry. It's so crisp now. It is fully crisp at 200%.
Amazing now.
Yeah. Also, yes, FYI, if you haven't turned it on already, you have to do it manually. It is not on by default, so you have to go to your settings screen window and select 4K. And don't worry, you don't need
settings.
Yeah.
And it's graphics, I think.
Yes, and don't worry, you do not need a 4K display for that. You can turn it on at any resolution, and it'll just crisp up everything. So there's that. We have talked about window scale. I wish at someday I want to be able to just, use.
Yeah, click and drag.
Yeah,
just like
click and drag. Yeah.
You can do it with the map. Why can't we do it with other things?
You could do it in 1.0.
Shut up, 1.0, man.
But you know what? We couldn't do it with the map in 1.0.
That's true. That's true. You could do it with a minimap. You could drag the minimap. You could make a big minimap. Right, so that's good. Yeah.
I kind of hate the new arrows for the target ring. I think it's really...
Really?
Yes, I think it's really annoying. Because it's weird. It's such a small thing.
Yeah.
But I hate clicking on an NPC like I'm just talking to.
It is weird with the NPCs.
Yeah, and I'm like big fucking arrows. I'm like, take this shit off. I wish I could kind of turn it off because I don't know. I don't need it personally. I didn't have every struggle with it. I don't think.
I think with everything else, it has been pretty good improvement.
Yeah, in battle content, it's very pointless for NPCs, obviously, but it's spaghetti. They can't have different target rings for NPCs and hostiles. The new target rings are good. What was I thinking about? It's funny, the emote stuff. because I'm like, oh yeah, search function for remotes immediately goes back to the old ways of just scrolling through the list because I can't be bothered to search.
For those youngins to use, the new players.
Yeah.
We're set in our ways. We scroll.
We scroll, baby.
The load times are amazing.
It's so fucked up. It's like I'm playing a real video game.
It's not annoying anymore to travel anywhere.
No.
Which is really nice.
I put aside not that it was like massively long before, but like I used to have like the time to like quickly look at another window. Now I don't have that.
Right. Very nice. It also makes like the zone dividers in city states less horrible because it doesn't take that long to teleport between the areas. Makes the Ethernet more enjoyable because the Ethernet is like almost instant.
Yes.
So yeah, it's really good. Is there anything else in quality of life that's like worth mentioning? I've tried the I've done submarines.
Tell us about subs.
Well, Cher came back with an antique sink.
Really? Just got it from the depths of the ocean.
Yeah. So that's the first time she's brought something that's not a twig or a log.
Is it valuable?
I think it's like 400K, which is pretty good. So that's going to the FC Bank. That's good. That's good money. But yeah, it's she's not. That's the one valuable thing she's ever going to bring. She's going to go back to logs next. I think. Oh yeah! Oh god! The new weapons, the new crafted glamour weapons for Hades and Byakko.
I wasn't expecting the Byakko weapons to be as cool as they are.
No, that effect is wild. There's like this like black it's hard to explain.
It's like a paint stroke.
Yes. The glow is like it's not a glow, it's like paint strokes. It's hard to explain it. Yeah, black ink. Very unique looking glow. And also the Hades weapons has a great like this outline. It's hard to explain that as well. It's hard to explain weapon glows. But it's one of those glows that's not annoying. It's like it's just looks like it's part of the weapon. That's just what it is.
That's interesting. Because I fucking hate glows, so I'd be interested to take a look at that.
The Hades ones are really good. The Byakko ones are more show-offy. They are a lot happening, but it's really cool. Go on, Gary.
Triple Triad.
Oh yes.
Very fast now. Like games are significantly sped up from what they used to be. I can feel it being faster at least. I was thinking that it wouldn't feel any different at all, but it actually feels like more efficient to do it than do it now than it used to.
What's the reason for that?
The animations are faster.
Oh, okay, I see. All right.
And also having a 4-star card in your deck is nice.
Oh yes, true. They did change.
Oh
that.
yes. Also yes, Triple Triad cards are much easier to win now. The drop rates against NPCs are very high now.
Oh, that's nice too, because there's a ton of cards to get, and you know what? They make it easier. Maybe I'll start doing it.
Maybe I'll do it now.
There is, I will say, the G Warrior card is an interesting unlock method.
Oh,
it requires you to trade in 1 ruby token, 1 emerald token, and 1 diamond token to an NPC in Mordona.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, at least you can get it like guaranteed then if you have those, but
yeah, it's just
you must really love cards if you want to give up your totems for that, I guess.
Yeah, you have to clear extreme. And I have never. I mean, not that I'm afraid of extremes. Like there are some people that just do not want to touch extreme content.
Yeah.
But I have never been a fan of cards that require you to farm extreme content.
Right.
Which is the case with both Thornton's card. To this day, you still need to do Thornton Extreme for some reason. It does not drop in the Singularity Reactor.
Right.
Or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And also Varus is exclusive to an Extreme Trial.
Okay. Well, there you go. I mean, I don't know if we'll talk. Let's talk about Ishgard quickly. The fates. Just quickly talk about those fates.
The fates
in the firmament. The firmament looks hideous now. I absolutely hate. I hate it so much. We spent so much time and effort rebuilding this fucking district, and it looked beautiful. Until now, where they put up blue sausage links and Nintendo 64 balloons. It is it is a disaster. What were they thinking? That's the firmament now. That's just what it looks like now. Those sausage links are like solid. They are there. They're part of the environment. We have blue sausage links for life in the firmament.
You thought the Paisa houses would ruin the view? Don't worry, they did it for you. They ruined the view.
It looks horrible at night as well. It looks absolutely disgusting. And we're not going to talk about that right now, but I mean, it is worth mentioning. It looks horrible. Okay, fates. Have you all been part of a fate? No.
No, I missed it.
Rollo.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
We didn't put it in the notes.
No, they were not in the notes.
Not that he read them.
The fates. It's like a series of 5 or 4. I think there's like an introductory one. Yeah,
they're like gates.
Yeah, they're like gates. And you get 2 when you get gold. You get 2 like loot boxes that can contain anything from a fate token to like just straight up like the peace lover's attire and the whatever the mount. The games themselves, when I did it, it was so crowded. It was so difficult to understand what the fuck I was supposed to do. The first one is pretty straightforward. It's like it's similar to
it's the time of your life. You know that gate they got rid of because people didn't like it?
Yeah.
It's back.
Yes. Which is essentially do the dance that they're doing. That's that. The second one is similar to the firmament restoration thing where you do one thing in one station, then you pick up a thing, deliver it at another place, which is that's the one Moogles.
Where you pick up the giant Moogles that we've seen, except when they showed off those giant Moogles, there were 2. There were 2. When I see this, there is like hundreds of them.
I was so confused, and I during that I literally just went because I was so stressed because I didn't know where.
I didn't realize you had to pick it up afterwards.
Right.
So I ran over to where you were. I just followed everyone. Like, I'm going here.
And then there's one where you have to open certain like presents, and you have to find the right one. If you pick the wrong one, you turn into a little piggy, and then deliver it to the guy. That one's fairly easy. It's a bit frustrating, but.
When you get the right one, if you read the item text, it's kind of sassy. It says, "This is the token you need to progress the gate." Why are you reading this? Go hand it in.
And then there's the yak wool.
Yak.
Yeah, you have to shear the yak, and that's that one. Oh my god, there were so many people. So you use the thing from the diadem, the ether, the bazooka, and it literally shoots the wool off it, and then.
Oh my god!
They've modified it, Rollo, so it only shoots air. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's just air. It's just air. 3 pieces come off, But in the stress and with the amount of people, that's very hard to tell the first time you do this. I picked up one, and I thought, okay, because you think pick up one, deliver, pick up one, deliver. Yeah. So I ran over to the guy that you're supposed to deliver to, and he's like, I can't wait to receive your wool. And I'm like, I have the wool. And I just kept clicking, I have the wool, I have the wool. I had to check my inventory, like, it's in my inventory. And I ran back and there's another one. Picked that up because I thought maybe it bugged. Maybe it doesn't think I have it. I picked another one, went back, can't wait to receive the wool. I'm like, I have the wool. Went around, found the third one, delivered. And that's so stressful. Last one is delivering presents to 3 types of people that are standing on the bridge thing, and so everyone just moved to the center of that bridge thing where all the people were standing, and then the fate started, and I'm like, okay. And people were just running, and you know how there's so many people, they just disappear? Like, it's just...
Yeah.
I didn't know that there was shit happening at the other side of the bridge. So I was just talking to people, be like, what am I doing here?
I saw these presents, but I'm like, where did the presents come from?
Yes, that's what I was doing. I'm like, I'm supposed to give you presents. I don't know where to get them. So I just ran around in a circle, just talking to all the NPCs. They're like, lovely day, isn't it? I'm like, what? Just like, why are you saying that? So eventually I did find it. And overall, it's quite fun, albeit a little hectic.
It's very long. It takes about 28 minutes to do all of these fates.
Yes.
And you get, if you do all of them for gold, you get 500 Sky Builders scripts. So you still do get scripts, which is the same amount you would have got for a Ishgardian Restoration fate.
Yep.
And you also get 10 loot boxes.
Yes.
That you can, as Lakil said, you can get the tokens, which you will then use to just trade for the items, or you can get the items. The first time I did this, I got 10 tokens, and I was very disappointed. The second time I did it, I got the mount, I got the outfit, and I got a portrait of Emmerich. And I was like, oh.
Ah, nice.
I'm happy now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so make sure you catch that.
The
that
mount
is
in particular.
Yeah.
The prices on the market board have crashed.
Oh,
if
God.
you want the mount and you don't want to do a gate and you don't want to do the fates, you can easily get one.
That is so funny because when that happened, right after, there were like none of those mounts were on the market board, and then someone made the grave mistake of going, okay, guys, let's all not try to undercut each other when we put this up on the market board. You absolute fool. You absolute... It was so funny going in and looking at it because someone had put it up for like 20 million gil, right? And then someone immediately followed it with 500k. And then someone followed that with 100k. And he's like, well, it's no fun if we're just going to be like children. And he was so angry in chat. And I'm like, oh, this is good. This is good. Yeah, don't talk about that in chat, you fool. Okay. So there you go. That is...
One final thing to mention.
Yeah.
The luxury mounts that they released this patch. The Golden Runker. 25 million gil.
Yeah.
The Namazu Mikoshi. 50 million gil.
Oh boy.
But listen, if you get it, then people will see you riding it and be like, wow, he spent money on an ugly mount.
Yes.
He has money.
Yeah, because it is.
And he doesn't care about having money.
Can you market board those? Can you?
Yes, you can. For some reason.
I have seen pictures of the most cursed purchases I have ever seen. Wasn't there someone who bought the Ronka mount for like 60 million gil on the market board?
No, not 60 million. It wasn't that high. Don't worry about that. It was 40 million, which is still
40.
15 million more than it's worth.
Why?
That's like a flex. That's just a flex.
I paid more for this thing.
Yeah.
You can just
yeah.
buy.
You only paid 25. Well, 45 here. Thank you very much.
Having your name on the market board for having purchased it like that reminds me of that app that was on the Apple Store. That is, "I am rich," which was a picture of a diamond, and you could pay $1,000 to buy it.
Oh my god, what a world we live in. Okay, well, that's I think that's it for today. That we'll continue our review next week, and in that one we will try to get. I think we can get both Werlyt and Yorha in there. They are not as long, so that should be fine. That's it. We'll go into the post show now if you're watching live. Thank you for watching this episode of Speakers of Heidland. Remember to follow at Twitter at SpeakersXIV, twitch.tv/Speakers of Heidland, youtube.com/SpeakersXIV, exclamation Discord in chat if you want to join our Discord server. If you're watching on demand, links in the description. Remember to send us mogmail, speakersxiv.com/mogmail, and you can check out other stuff on Speakers Place, youtube.com/speakers place. We'll be back next week, same time, same place, and if you're watching live, we'll go straight into the post show. See you there. Goodbye.
Bye.